Hi, everybody. So I'm very excited to be here with you today. So I just happen to have, so for you who don't know Material UI, this is a UI library for React components, and I'm going to explore with you what we are up to, what we have just done a few minutes ago, and what we are working on in the future. So we have just released Material UI v4. This is the latest iteration of our work. You can find it on NPM and Twitter. Sorry? Okay. But before we dive in, let me present myself. My name is Olivier. I've been working on Material UI since 2015, and recently moved full-time to this library, basically to really scale the project. So we released Material UI v1 a year ago, and we've learned a lot from this first iteration. We've recently done a survey where we asked people what they basically wanted to see, and we've tried to take that into account. So the very first important dimension we've tried to work on is customization. First, we've tried to make controlling this injection order of the styles a no-brainer. This is very handy when working with, for instance, style components. Then we've heard that the class object API can be can require a lot of boilerplate. So we worked on exposing global class names. So this way you just no longer have to worry about providing the right values. And finally, we wrote on explaining what's a pseudo class and how it's important from specificity. So to give you just a quick example of what it looks like, on the left side you have the current API in v3 and v4 that still works, but on the right side you have what you can now do with style component and global class names, so very more dense and easier to use. So then we worked on preparing the future. React recently, 6 months ago, announced the roadmap for their plan. We've tried to take that into account. So basically now we forward the ref to the underlying DOM elements. You no longer have to use find DOM node, for instance. We worked on migrating the whole code base from classes to hooks. And we worked on fixing all the strict mode warnings, so when concurrent mode is released, can be used out of the box. And documentation is paramount, and we've seen a lot of people migrating to TypeScript, and we decided to move all our demos from JavaScript to TypeScript, so people can just use the right languages depending on their code base. So basically you have a switch between the two. We try to target as many people as possible, and we decided to translate the documentation. So as of today, you can find the website in French, Chinese, and a couple of different languages. Performance. So people are always asking, should I use this library? What's the impact on my bundle? Will I have to handle poor performances? So for us, it's very key. And so we try on, we've built tree shaking native support. We've done a 15 bundle size reduction effort, which is remarkable considering all the feature we had it. And we now have an experimental support for Preact. So a lot of people value the good looking as well as functional aspect of the components. But we still feel that it's important to strictly follow the specification. So we've worked on keeping it up to date. So I don't have the time to dive into the details. I've written a blog post that can cover what we have done. But if you had to remember one thing, I would say that it's about the new stripe line we've changed. So basically we want to really emphasize the fact that we want to help you build faster, to save time when building applications, as well as making it easier. And this is something we're going to try to truly commit ourselves in the future, which led to what we are going to work on next. So this is basically the trend we have had over the last 4 years, and I dedicated myself full time to it to strengthen it. The first feedback this is basically what everybody wants. When we talk to people, they want more components, so we're going to build more components. So we can think of layout, multi-select, list box, combo box, slider, range, tree view, upload. There is a wide spectrum of components that I'm going to try to bring to the library. Then, as always, documentation is, as a UI library, your product, so it's very important to work on it. So you can expect to see a rating on each pages, so you can give us direct feedback of what's wrong. We've had good feedback on the system we've recently made, and we're going to try to bring this to the core so we can use it directly. We also have a lot of people asking for migration to style components, and Matter UI wants to to use the best love tool from the community. So we will work on isolating the styles from the core components, and so what we don't want is people to have to bundle to ship in their bundle to styling solution. So we can try to provide style components as a default while keeping GSS we have now for backward compatibility, as well as shipping something that is unstyled for people that are just adventurous. Then we try to fix the accessibility issues as people are reporting it, but we feel that we can do better. So we try to find a professional expert to audit our components and hopefully fix the issues. Though then you might be wondering how we make this effort sustainable. We want to replicate what Bootstrap model is, and so we are working on a premium theme shop, so you guys can really start with non-material UI, but still using the library as a solid foundation. So thank you. I really want to strengthen the fact that this is a team effort. We have 4 on the core team, which includes Matt, Josh, and Sebastian, as well as I also want to obviously thank all the other contributors, and we know we I think more than thousands. So thank you.